Hey, WTFers. Today's sponsor is adamandeve.com. Get 50% off any item along with free gifts and shipping when you enter WTF at the checkout. That's adamandeve.com. adamandeve.com. Have fun.
Lock the gate!
Are we doing this? Really? Wait for it. Are we doing this? Wait for it.
Pow!
What the fuck?
WTF.
And it's also, what the fuck? What's wrong with me? It's time for WTF. What the fuck?
With Marc Maron.
Okay, let's do this. How are you, what the fuckers? What the fuck buddies? What the fucking ears? What the fuck nicks? What the fuckaricans? What the fuck Canadians? Whatever the fuck you want to call yourself, it's all good. I'm into it. I can't list them all because there are hundreds. I am Marc Maron. This is WTF. I know you can tell from my voice. I'm trying to fix it. I'm a little scratchy. I'm a little stuffed up. I've neti potted. I've run water, hot water, from one nostril to the other. I've taken pills. I've sprayed shit into my head. I've done everything I can to try to deny the fact that I have congestion in my face. So bear with me. And bear with me through this, too, because we've got a little business to take care of, but I think this is going to be exciting for you. We've got some big news about the WTF archives. A lot of people who are new to WTF are asking, where can we get these old shows? These shows we read about, all these other shows that we can't get on the iTunes or on the server there. Well, now is your chance. For the month of March, our 99-cent app is available for free. Now let me just tell you what you get. With the free app, you get instant access to the most recent episodes of WTF, and then you can upgrade your app to get all the past episodes of WTF and bonus content, which I'm thinking of creating right now. Some of you don't have iPhones, I understand. Some of you don't have Android phones, I get it. And you've been asking how you can get access to the archives. Well, now that is answered right here. We have a WTF premium account that allows you to stream all of the past episodes to your computer. How's that for you if you're sitting at work trying to look like you're working but don't want to listen to all the old WTFs? You can go to WTFpod.com, click on the Get the Podcast button, then click the No iTunes link, and you'll be taken to the premium sign-up page. And that means you'll be able to stream all of the content that you can get on the apps right at your computer. Dig it. And if you just want certain episodes, we're starting to get those up too. We've begun making those available. You can go to WTFpodshop.com or to iTunes to get our 5 bonus live WTFs plus the Robin Williams episode and the 2-part Carlos Mencia episode. So just search WTF Premium on iTunes and you'll find all of those episodes. Or you can go to WTFpodshop.com and make an account. So let me just recap. I apologize, but this is important information to fans of the show. The WTF app is free for the month of March. Once you get it, you can upgrade and get every past episode. Or you can get every past episode streaming on your desktop with the WTF Premium account. And that means you go to WTFpod.com and click the Get Podcast, No iTunes. For individual episodes, go to WTFpodshop.com or search WTF Premium on iTunes. Now let's talk about me. I know a lot of people are talking about Charlie Sheen. Yeah, I quite honestly, I have mixed feelings about it. I think it's a bit disturbing. It's a bit sad. I think that he is volunteering himself in what I see as a manic episode to draw attention to himself, which is fine. And of course, the media is feeding on this because there's a frenzy around the excitement. But I feel bad because I know eventually whatever's happening with him, he's going to crash down. But I got to be honest with you. Having grown up with a manic in my life, I envy the clarity and excitement Mr. Sheen is feeling as he completely disintegrates everything around him. You know, whatever power he has, whatever he's winning, whatever Adonis DNA he might have, whatever wizardry he is summoning at this point, he is using it to destroy everything around him and celebrate it with a type of confidence that can only come from just unmedicated, pure mania. And I tell you, man, that is the best fucking high available. Utterly destructive, does not need any provocation from substances, just a natural turning of the tide of the brain chemistry. And oh my God, where's my fucking cape? Where's my cape? Because I could fly. I could do anything. He's like Icarus. Charlie Sheen is the modern tale of Icarus. wings crafted by his father, that he flies to get out of Crete, to get out of everything. Charlie Sheen will get too close to the sun. And I don't see this story as ending any other way, but in a sad way, one way or the other. My heart goes out to him. I know that he would step on it and spit on it and say, I don't fucking need your heart right now. God damn it, I am winning. But my heart goes out to him. We've got Amy Schumer on the show today, which is excellent. She's charming, she's lovely, she's pretty, and she's fucking hilarious. And it was great to talk to her. Now, obviously, I've got a little bit of a cold. And obviously, that means I had to go into the drawer where all the medicine was. That's what I did. I went to the drawer where all the medicine was. Now, I don't know who you are, but who I am is a guy that keeps medicine clearly for much longer than it is supposed to be kept. I'm going through boxes of medicine that is dated, expired in 2003. Are you fucking kidding me? And here was the saddest part about me going through medicine, because part of me thinks, like, how bad could it get? What's going to happen to it? It doesn't get moldy. It doesn't, what's it going to do? Is it going to be antithetical to medicine? Am I going to take it? Is my cold going to get worse? I don't fucking know. But then someone told me that what happens is it loses its effectiveness. Now, the weird part about this medicine drawer is that I haven't really cleaned up a lot of shit since my divorce. Now, I know I haven't been talking about this much, and I know it's, I know that people say, dude, you should be over it. Dude, there's a time limit to this. Well, I got an answer to you, dude. Look, fucking broken heart is a life-defining thing. And, it goes when it goes. It happens when it happens. Sometimes you're not willing to let go of shit. Now, obviously, I've gotten through a lot of it, but I was surprised at the emotions that were drawn out of me going through the medicine drawer. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ. I could understand if I was going through a photo album and go, oh, that's us there and that's us here. Look, this is us fighting right after that fight there. This is right after I yelled at her here. But I'm going through the medicine drawer, and I found, I don't even know why I bought it or who bought it, but it's Senecot. It's a laxative. You guys know that. But it's in Spanish. So it says laxante natural de origen vegetal. Natural laxative from vegetable origin. But it's in Spanish. And then I thought, like, we went on the trip to Oaxaca. And we bought the laxatives because the food was fucking us up so badly. And it was such a difficult time. But look, that's from our trip. This is a souvenir from our trip. I can't throw this laxative away because this was when we had that mole and ate grasshoppers and we were in bed for 3 hours because, all we wanted to do was shit to get it out of us. And I think this can't, even if it's no good, I should put it in my memento box, the Mexican laxative package. How ridiculous is that? There were medicines, all this Claritin and Benadryl because she was allergic to cats. Oh, this is fucking hard for me to admit. Poor woman was allergic to cats. She loved our cats, but, she was allergic to them. So she was constantly taking these pills and sneezing in bed. And fucking genius here. I was like, are you going to be okay? I mean, what are we supposed to do? Get rid of the cats? That was just unheard of to me. What an insensitive asshole. The memories I have of a sneezing, miserable wife and being constipated in Mexico. Oh, let me just sit and reflect. Okay, you know what time it is. It's sex time. That's right, guys and gals. What are you looking for? What do you need? What can turn it around for you? What can reinvigorate, or not even reinvigorate, reinvent your sex life? Well, I'll tell you, something at adamandeve.com can. And for a limited time only, you can get 50% off just about any item. That's right, 50% off. Oh, and if you get the 50% off deal, you'll also receive 3 free DVDs. Those are dirty, sexy DVDs. And you get a free extra gift. And I can't even tell you what it is, quite honestly, because I don't know. I know some of you have sent me what it is, but now I can't remember. And we'll give you free shipping on that. That's on me. That's on WTF. If you go to adamandeve.com and use the offer code WTF, you will get the 50% off, the 3 free DVDs, the little extra gift, and free shipping on almost anything at adamandeve.com. Now, obviously, I reach out to women, usually with this. I know how unbearable we can get as men, and sometimes you just want some of your own time, and sometimes you just need a specific type of toy. Well, they have that here. But also, men, Do whatever you want. Just fucking do it. Get something weird. Do something different. I think I'm going to order something. It's time that I break out. I'm going to use my own Adam and Eve 50% off deal. Marc Maron, I'm going to go to adamandeve.com, use the WTF offer code, and get 50% off any item. And I've just got to find a woman to wear that hat with. adamandeve.com, WTF as the offer code. Get all that.
Now, I just want you to know that I woke up a little late. I didn't shower.
Okay.
And I'm filthy.
Okay. You look filthy. But, like, ironically filthy.
Oh, good. So not classically filthy?
But this place is so beautiful. It's like, it looks like you were doing some wood shopping or something, you know?
Well, I'd like to say
like
that.
A craft.
Well, that's my neighbor. My neighbor's, if we'll be lucky if we get through this interview and he doesn't start chopping something.
Oh, okay.
So wait, now, you don't have friends?
I've got a couple friends.
Oh.
But, like, not a lot. It's really hard to hold on to friends.
It is?
Yeah, for me.
I'm not going to ask you how old you are, but
I'm 29.
You're 29.
Yeah, that's like such a way to ask. It's like, and if she answers okay, if not, it'll just be a moment of
like,
weirdness.
what area of age are you in?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say, but like, what year were you born?
Yeah. No, I don't know. Like, I have 2 friends, maybe 3.
Okay.
Do you?
That's a lot.
But, like, holding on to friends, what are you supposed to do? Is there a way to do it?
I haven't figured it out. Like, I've got like friends from high school that will still meet up if somebody has a baby, but what's better than comedy to get out of that shit?
Sure.
I'm like, I just cannot lose the money, even if it's like $100.
But isn't that, when you go to see your friends' babies, don't you go over and just feel like, well, this is what you'll be doing. Thanks for, I don't know how to handle that. The woman next door is
it's
so
weird.
pregnant.
I feel more of a connection to it now. Like, my friends used to just like, most of my friends have at some point terminated a pregnancy. So, or like one of my friends had a baby because like she sort of had to. You
Really?
know, it was like you can't keep
Does
fucking
she live
doing this.
Oh.
So she had it, but we were like 23.
Yeah.
And so we, for around the country, that's like a totally normal age. Like,
To have a baby?
That's like a late age to have a baby.
23?
23, and like if you're in like North Carolina, they're like, "Why'd you wait so long?" But in New York, it's like,
It's like,
"Oh
you
my
did
God, what do you do?" Like teen mom.
Yeah.
But so like we were all like, oh, like at the baby shower, it was all just kind of like pained smiles, and then
man.
But now my friends are starting to have kids, and we're almost 30, so it's like I'm genuinely excited. One of my friends is having a kid. I'm like, I can't wait. So it's a totally different
that's
vibe,
sweet.
right in that girl's face, though.
Yeah.
It's like, remember when you had a baby and we were all like, oh, you're Hester Prynne, and now we're like excited for each other.
Did she turn out all right, that kid?
Yeah, she's fine. She's everybody's great. Like it wound up being great, but at the time it was just like, oh my God,
People have babies all the time.
all the time.
It just happens. Like the woman next door, she's having one. She's got to be almost 40.
I don't get it. Like, I don't understand how people get pregnant by accident. Like, I'm a piece of shit. I mess up, but birth control is not
Can we
something.
explore that a little bit? I'm a piece of shit. I mess up. So you're going to go into birth control, not going to be like, I just fuck anybody.
No. I've got holes and I use them. No, I'm just like, but birth control, I've never messed around with. I'm like,
You're
I'm
on
on
it.
antibiotics. You're going to
Yeah.
have to come somewhere else.
Yeah.
Sorry this started off so dirty. I didn't mean for it to.
No, I don't mind dirty.
It's just true. It's just truth, though.
I don't think we get dirty enough on this show sometimes. I mean, sometimes I think we avoid the dirty.
Yeah.
But you used to host a show with Jim Norton. And it's funny because I've had Peretti on here who used to date Jim
yeah.
Norton.
Yeah,
Way
I
back
love her.
when. Oh, she's the greatest. But she's very careful to say, like, I know he didn't pee on me. And, like
Right.
if you have any proximity to Jim Norton as a woman, you have to sort of
Right.
qualify it.
Yeah.
I'm not part of the thing he does.
Yeah. I would guess that. I don't know that Jim is famous for peeing on people. I didn't
And I think
know
he likes
that.
to be peeing on.
Oh, he likes to be peed
yeah.
on.
Like-
Okay, well, that's so much easier to take.
Yeah.
You're going to go anyway.
I talked to a woman the other night that was sort of like she was actually wishing that she would have gotten into the business of peeing on people because, like, it seems easy and good money. But
Oh,
it seems
yeah.
But it seems a little, I don't know. Then you got to be that person.
I don't know. I could pee on someone. I could see it. but like,
But could you do it without laughing?
no, probably not. It's hard to do a lot of things without laughing.
I was just so fucking impressed that night where you came out and did that live show, just like, spontaneously, after fucking Attell, and you didn't even think twice.
Thank
and
you.
You kicked ass.
Had I known I was going to have to go out there after Attell brought that fucking roof down,
Yeah.
I would have killed myself.
He brought everybody down,
Yeah.
in a funny way. I didn't mean sadly.
Oh no, he was on fire that night.
He was like bordering on insane,
and
then
it's so funny because he can't feel.
Yeah, at all.
So you're like, oh my god, the crowd is exploding, and
Yeah.
he's just like, his heart rate wasn't even raised. But I was in the back getting drunk.
Yeah.
And I just didn't even think the smallest part of me that I was going to go out on stage.
Yeah.
And then I heard him say, well, we should get the woman perspective or something. And I go, oh, this is about me. And then
Yeah.
like, let's get her out here. And I
Yeah.
was like slurring into the microphone. But
did you get that fear though? Like, because I mean, when I was starting out, like, if it's even now, I think if Attell brought me out after that, I'd be like, oh fuck.
yeah,
You didn't
I
have time
was
to think
drunk
about it?
enough and did not have time to think about it. But in retrospect, I'm like, oh, that could not have gone down better for me.
Yeah.
That I didn't know I was going to
Yeah.
go on stage. Had I known I was going out after him, I would have.
Because he was like out of his mind. It was great. It was, and then he got to that point where he gets to a point where he's leveled everybody and
Yeah.
everyone's laughing. And then he goes, "Come on, I thought we were talking."
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I can't. What am I supposed to do now that I'm not going to? I literally thought that if I don't get to, if someone doesn't come out here soon or I don't end this, I'm going to get hurt.
Yes. Oh,
I'm
yeah.
emotionally hurt.
Heads are
Attell's
gonna roll.
he's going to go after me in the deep dark way.
Yeah, he can't even help it. He started to. But
I know.
I mean,
I know.
hilariously.
I know.
What did he say? Things.
I don't know. You gotta-
Shit my dad never said. That was killer. The way I worked with Norton and him is I opened for them on the road a bunch.
You did.
Yeah, so like the thought that I would ever have to go on stage after either of them, I would just rather become a puddle on the floor.
Right, but also you knew him, and
Yes.
they obviously like you.
Yeah.
And Attell, I don't know if you know this, he said, "Give my money to you."
No, really?
Yeah, because you weren't on the bill, and he was like, "Just give it to Amy."
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks, Dave.
He's a very sweet
He
guy.
is the coolest, greatest dude, and he's my favorite comedian.
Yeah.
Like to get to work with your favorite comic, God.
But how did you find your way? Like, and I don't really want to put it this way, but I mean, it is more difficult for women to sort of transcend in this business and have their own voice, and you seem to have done it, and you do it in a way that, I mean, you're a real club comic. A lot of people choose the precious sort of like, I'm alternative.
I know. Well, I mean, the grass is always greener. I'm
Yeah.
always trying to eke my way into UCB.
Really?
Yeah, I've done Comedy Death Ray a couple times.
It went
and
well, right?
It went well, yeah. I'm so afraid of those places. I'm just like, oh, they just want people who are cool. They hate jokes. And then I've gone in and they've been really, really cool to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, but
They
I
actually
am a club
like jokes.
kid.
Yeah.
They do. They
They
like
just don't know
jokes.
that. They have this attitude that isn't founded in anything. But I've noticed when someone goes in there and does jokes, they're like, oh,
They're
yeah.
like, oh, set a punchline.
Yeah.
That's okay.
They do
They're-
that.
They're not above it. They like funny.
Yeah,
They're an
exactly.
audience.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, I'm always but I go in there angry and I'm like, these fucking kids. And
Yeah.
then I have a good experience.
I
And I'm
do
like,
too.
they know what's going on in
Yeah.
there. They get it.
Yeah, they like comedy.
Yeah.
So how did you come up, though? I mean, when did you start?
I started about 6.5 years ago.
So you're doing really good. In terms of timelines, in terms of
Yeah, I
people's
guess in terms of
idea
timelines.
of what the trajectory should be.
I guess, yeah. There's no part of me there's no bitterness.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah,
like,
yeah.
why haven't I gotten this yet?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's been good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like anything else. Like I feel good when I've written some new stuff, and when I haven't,
Yeah.
I feel like, oh, all is lost. I'll never get on stage again.
But
and
what
I'm
made
gonna
you
die
do
alone.
it? You're just a kid, and you're growing up where?
I grew up on Long Island.
Nice family.
Yeah,
Jews.
same town as Attell.
Really?
Yeah, his mom, it's so weird. We didn't even realize this until 2 years ago, but
Yeah.
his mom used to take care of me after school.
Stop it.
Not kidding. We were
Come on.
Me and my sister were latchkey kids. Isn't that the weirdest? But we never saw Dave. I didn't there was no interaction until his mom came and saw it. We were both performing at Central Park Summer Stage.
Yeah.
And his sister was there and she was like, "Amy?" And I was like, she was like, "I used to babysit you." And it was very surreal.
Attell's sister used to
Attell's
babysit
sister.
you?
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't make this connection till...
No.
How weird is
Until
that?
a couple
And
years
he's your
ago.
favorite comic.
I know.
And he gave his money to you, so you got some of that money back from the babysitting.
I'm scared. Now I owe him something.
No, you don't owe
No.
him anything.
No, but he's so funny because I'll open for him. Like
Yeah.
I was opening for him in Irvine, and there are all these. He hosted the porn awards one year, so it was like all these porn actors, these famous people. He was like pointing them out. He's like, "Oh, that guy has AIDS."
Yeah.
You know, he's like going around pointing out, "Oh, that guy's the hugest dick you've ever seen." So after the show, he was like, "Let's go to Cheesecake Factory after the show," and I'm like, "Okay," and then these hot porn actresses come up to him and they're just like, "Hey, we're going to like a party," and he's like, "Oh no, we got to go to Cheesecake Factory." And I was like, "Are you serious? Like, we're still going to Cheesecake?" And then we're just sitting there, it's sad cheesecake and tea.
But we choose that.
I know.
It's that thing we were talking about at the beginning. Like there are times where it takes a lot of. It doesn't sound fun to me to be in a room full of people I don't know, where I don't have some sense of control of it, and just because I think immediately we turn into what we really are, which is like, oh, I don't want to.
A recluse.
Yeah. Kinda.
Oh my God! I don't even like. I just recorded a CD. I'm like, I'm not gonna go stand out there and sell these. Like, I don't want to interact.
Yeah, you should get over that.
I know. I don't hate money, but I hate like.
Well, it took me a while to even watch myself on television.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, a couple
I used
weeks.
to like it. Like I used to be like, oh, good job, and now I'm like, who am I?
Yeah. What have I
is
become?
This monster? Who I don't even know this girl.
Why? What is it that you do that makes you think that?
Well,
have you become too filthy?
I saw not at all.
Okay.
Not for me. I saw a bunch of. I used to do bringers at Gotham in New York. Like
Bringers,
I started out, you'd have to bring crowd to get on stage. And so my first shows were in front of a real audience. So I didn't do an open mic for a couple months. And, and then I went to an open mic, like doing my material, like here I go, another killer set. Yeah. No, like everyone hated me.
You didn't have a room full of friends. Just...
No, they were just like boo. Yeah, it wasn't like the people who love me unconditionally in the crowd. So I would get a tape after the bringer, but I didn't have a VCR, so I would go to Best Buy, and I would like put it in like on display, like watch it with a notebook, and I would see myself once a month. So it's like gradual changing. It's like gaining weight. I didn't notice because I was seeing it so often, and then I didn't see myself from Last Comic Standing until I got to do Jimmy Fallon, and so it had been years, and I saw that air, and I was a little stoned, and I was wearing like this dress and polka dots, and I was like, who is this fucking clown monster? I hate myself. And then I watched it the next day, and I was like, oh, that was fine. That was okay, but no more weed before watching myself ever.
Yeah, that moment where you're like, why did I wear that?
Yes.
That's the worst.
And I am a club comic. I'm on the road a lot, so I feel like if you start doing too well on the road, it's not good. It means, like you're doing something wrong.
Maybe.
But like the timing and the whatever, I've become a comedian. Like
you can feel it.
I can feel it, and I could see it. And there was something that seemed a little bit dishonest about it to me. Just the
that you knew the trick.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, which is why I love your stand-up, and I like. That's so appealing to me.
I still haven't learned the trick.
But that's good. Like if I could find any sort of consistency, because I'll have some sets where I'm just really honest and talking, and maybe it goes well, and maybe it's just a little therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
But I'm used to and need that that Pavlov our urge response. I need like the laugh at the end of my sentence.
Well, that's the difference between some dudes like Attell has always been a joke writer. I mean, you're gonna write jokes, or like I never found a lot of satisfaction with that. I mean, I think what happens to me is I evolve jokes out of talking. I mean, I know what my jokes are.
Right.
I know, where I expect the laugh, but they're not a format thing. But some people who know how to write jokes, they're like, this will provide me protection and laughter.
Oh, that's me. Yeah, that is me. But see, Attell's my favorite comic.
Yeah.
But watching you or watching Louis.
Yeah.
Is like so refreshing to me, and I love those like, oh my God, that's so true, and I've never heard anyone say that.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's my favorite stand-up to see. But Attell, it's like it's amazing how he'll go on stage at the Cellar wearing a hood under a hat, like he basically has a ski mask on. He looks like newly homeless.
Yeah.
But he just and he'll have no connection to the words he's saying.
Right.
But still just kill. Like the crowd does not need him to like himself.
Isn't that interesting? Some guy told me, like, I can't remember who the hell it was. Like, I was talking about that early on in my career where I thought that, I was doing something self-revelatory, that I have a point of view and I'm trying to, express who I am.
Right.
And I compared like Attell as a guy that I think it was actually Jon Stewart, who like he just does jokes, and Stewart was like, you can see exactly who Attell is. I mean, like even though he's doing this type of comedy, he's doing what you like because he's that guy. There's just something about his stage persona and how much Like you can see everything about a
You're
talent.
right. You're
you can
totally
see,
right.
You can see his sensitivity. You can see his sadness. It all comes through in those fucking jokes.
Yeah.
Like the fact that he is incapable of really, talking. He's barely capable of talking about himself when you're just sitting with him.
Oh no, he'll deflect all over the place.
Yeah, but it all comes out in that comedy.
That's so interesting. I never thought about that. Yeah,
I mean,
that's true. He just he's sort of masked with these jokes, but the crowd loves him. Like, they love the guy they can see. You're right.
And you really get a feeling of who he is.
And it's so weird because my
and you never leave saying that guy's a happy guy when he leaves the stage.
And you're never like, what a racist ass. Because it's
No.
But I think about that with the stuff I do on stage.
Yeah.
It's a lot of saying. Not the worst thing I can think of, but stuff that I think is funny, but that, it sets me up to be just kind of this racist whore. And then after the show, I'm always shocked. People are like, can I hug you?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you want to hug me? Like, what? And I will have kind of gotten into it with a couple audience members. And I guess, I hope it's that's the thing. It's like they can see that I'm just like a little girl who needs to be hugged.
It's all big cry for help.
Yeah.
Is that the name of your new CD?
Yeah.
Cry for help?
Maybe, no. It's Cutting.
Yeah. Is that what it's called?
Cutting.
Cutting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Based on
cutting.
Really?
Yeah.
Were you a cutter?
No.
I like it as a metaphor for stand up.
It's a bunch of different things, but it's really meaningful to me, and it's the way I've been closing.
Which
on
is
stage,
what?
Which is I say, I'm going to leave you with this. My sister, my little sister, used to cut herself.
Uh-huh.
That's it. And then I put the mic in the stand and I walk off stage. And the crowd's just like, and they've laughed every time. And I've been up there for 45 minutes, so they know I'm
Right.
I'm
So
sick.
they're waiting for the.
And then they realize, oh no, that's it. And it's gone well, except one time I closed like that at Gotham, and they were all just like, when is she coming back up here? Even William Stevenson's closing the show, and they're just like, where's Amy?
Right. You just left it hanging?
Yeah.
Now, I mean, so okay, well, I've had this conversation with, people that now I'm forced into this conversation because of what happened with Gallagher. But,
I heard the intro to that. I haven't heard the episode yet, but it's like I had to stop listening when he was just about to come out.
He was just I'm over that.
Yeah.
I certainly have no problem with anything that anybody says.
Right.
But it really, the difference is owning it. And knowing that, that whatever you're doing is not coming from a place of hate, but it's coming from a place of disarming something.
Totally.
But then there are people that refuse to own it and deny it, and yet they still do it, and then you got to question their integrity.
Well, when you said people who don't own it, I think somebody up there who's saying it and is kind of like, is that okay with you guys? Is that what you mean?
No, I mean in the sense that what kind of jokes you do.
Yeah.
And you do them to sort of, disarm discomfort.
Yes.
But I think that some people genuinely are fucking racist homophobes.
That it comes from a bad, yes.
And when they do it, if they do it, most people who do that kind of jokes, they do it across the board.
Right.
It's not like there's not three jokes
they
about
throw
black
it in there, like a lot of N-bombs all of a sudden.
Right. It's not, there's not three jokes about black
but
people.
But then that raises the question of Nick DiPaolo. I really
Nick is genuinely racist.
He's genuinely Republican, racist, but I love watching him on stage.
Because he'll own it.
Because he lives it, but he owns it. Yeah, he owns it for real.
Yeah, and I mean, and it is uncomfortable, but it is real. That was like some of the great stuff about Tough Crowd is that you can indulge these things.
Yes.
Now, certainly a lot of people would think he was wrong, and he may very well be wrong.
Yeah.
But he's saying fuck you. This is how I think.
Yes.
So you gotta give him props for that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's not helping anybody in the sense that the people that are going, are probably not great people.
Right. That's the scariest shit.
I mean, that's the whole question. Is that when when someone comes up to you after a show, after you've done your jokes and says, "I feel the same way about black people," then you're in sort of an awkward position.
You're just like, "Whoa, I did not mean to start organizing a Klan meeting."
Does that ever happen to you?
Never with racist stuff.
Right.
But with I'll talk on stage a lot about I kind of go back and forth between being I'm pretty, I know I'm pretty, and then being but I'm not that pretty,
right.
And then I'll talk about sex a lot and sort of talk about being promiscuous and I totally have been, and I've totally had a good amount of sex, and for the wrong reasons, for the right reasons. And I talk about it openly and unapologetically,
Right.
but that sort of sometimes gives people license after
Right.
to come up.
Like
and,
men or women?
Men.
Oh, right.
Men. But
So-
women, I think women like are psyched. Like to hear someone say the word clit on stage,
Yeah.
they're like,
I have
yes,
one."
we never say it, but
Yeah.
like we've got it.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah. It's very
It's
important.
really important.
If someone would please explain it to the guy
Yes.
I'm with.
Yeah, yeah. I've like broke it down for crowd members.
You have?
I'm like, yeah, like a guy won't laugh, and
Yeah.
I'm like, the clit is, and I just like describe where it is
Yeah.
and what he should be doing. But yeah, so guys after, or they'll write to me, and I don't know, it depends on what mood I'm in. I'm
Yeah.
so moody. Like
Yeah.
if I'm in a
How needy you are?
needy, moody, I'll be, somebody will tweet something to me like,
Yeah.
I wanna I want to see you inside out, or like I want to come on your head, or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. More creative than that. They're
Well,
obviously
coming on your head.
Coming on your head
is a little
so
broad.
sexy.
Yeah.
But it'll like, and sometimes I'm like, oh, like sometimes
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
really like, they get it.
That's sweet.
Or I'll be like, ew. Or a guy will come up to me after because I talk about how I'm easy, and he'll be like, so like, do you want to hang out? And I'm like, no. I'm like, are you crazy?
So do you see it as a character, in a way?
Yeah, but it's like, it's a part of me.
Yeah.
I didn't have sex till I was 18.
You say that like, oh, you're that old?
Well, all my best girlfriends were total whores and had sex early,
Like how early?
like 14.
Really?
Yeah.
With
They
other...
were giving head, they were having sex, and I was like, I loved hanging out with those girls. I was like, these girls are badass, but
Yeah.
I was like, but I'm not ready to
Yeah.
do that.
So they were
like,
sucking dick at 14
Yeah.
with other kids in school?
The Catholic school girls, man.
Well, yeah, that was a way out in a
That's
way.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh, my parents love me. I'm going to wait.
Yeah.
So
The
then-
Catholic girls, it's sort of like what they're taught to do in some weird way.
I don't know
Catholic
what it
girls
is.
and giving blowjobs, or how about those girls that like I've heard of women who will not have sex in their pussy.
They'll only have anal. I
Did
heard
you-
of it. Yeah, like there was this girl in college. It was like Jess is a virgin, and then like it came out like, oh, but she has anal. Like she has anal sex all the time. I was furious. I was like, stop calling yourself a virgin. Yeah, they're just like, well, I'm not gonna get pregnant, and that's not Jesus' whole. So I don't know. I don't know what they think.
So you're a Jewish girl amongst the Catholic whores.
Yeah. So, but then like in college. I felt like really good about myself in high school and knew who I was.
Yeah.
And then you get dropped off at college, and
Were you a cheerleader or anything?
I played volleyball.
Oh, so you're
No,
jock.
the cheerleaders in my high school were just like big black chicks. It was just step.
Yeah.
It's a lot of yelling. Like you did not want to get into it with the cheerleaders. They would fuck you up.
They were tougher than the volleyball
Oh
team.
my god, they were tougher than the football team. They were terrifying. But yeah, I played volleyball, and then I don't know, in college I just started like, I just had a good year of just really spreading it thin and,
Yeah.
and letting my numbers double.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, well, like we'll go have sex, and I think it was because I felt like I needed that. I wanted to feel beautiful and
Yeah.
appreciated.
Yeah.
And my self-esteem was low.
Yeah.
And in retrospect, it should have been.
Yeah.
Like I had put on a good 20 lbs, and I had no idea. Like I have such poor. I'm always trying to like figure out how attractive I am.
Yeah.
Because I've so like have had no idea. Like I've always thought I'm prettier than I actually am.
Right.
And in college, I gained, the freshman, not the 15, like at least 20.
Yeah.
Fast.
Yeah.
I came home and I remember like going to the doctor, and he weighed me, and he was like, "Whoa!" Like, he couldn't. It just like came out.
Yeah.
And my mom, who's always really positive, was like, "You look healthy."
Oh,
And I was like, "Okay."
the worst.
Still wearing the same clothes, just
Packed in.
shoving it all in
Yeah.
a tube top and
Yeah.
like an animal print mini.
Yeah.
And just still getting laid, but being like, I don't get it. Like, why aren't guys like, I want to be your boyfriend?
Yeah. Yeah. Why am
Why
I
are we
always
just
the
having
drunk
sex?
one having sex?
Yeah. One time, a guy called me at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
and I like woke me up, and it was like the guy that I had a crush on.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, maybe he's up really early and thinking about
Yeah.
about me. I go there.
Can't get you off my mind.
He's completely blacked. Just not even there. But I was like, oh, like I think, like maybe
He was just wasted?
Wasted.
Yeah.
Wasted, and we had the worst sex ever. But he introduced me to Sam Cooke, so it was. I was like, who is this? This is amazing.
So you're having sex with this guy who reeks like fucking
Yeah, so, like,
booze and
yeah.
you can't even see and like don't know much about
Yeah,
history.
she was only 16. I was like, ooh. And he was a super senior in college. Like,
Yeah.
in retrospect, like, what a dirtbag piece of shit. But,
a super senior?
super senior.
What does that mean?
It means he should have graduated. but he was like, I'm gonna stay around and fuck girls who hate themselves.
And you were like, here I am.
I was like,
Good
hey,
morning.
check out my tube. So yeah, like I spread it out thin. My numbers went up.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh wait, this sucks. This is not. But it was because I really liked this one guy.
Yeah.
And he did not want to be my boyfriend. Like we'd have sex once in a while, and I was just like, oh. And at that time, like you don't even know each other. The people that I had sex with, I'd see them at the bar at 10, and we would just kind of walk by each other and smile. And then it was like hopefully at 2 in the morning, you'd be like, do you want to go to late night in my underwear? And then like they would leave in the morning. You never had a conversation. So if someone rejected you, they weren't rejecting you. They didn't know you
at all.
You don't have a conversation with each other.
Isn't that weird how, like, I've been thinking about it lately because I'm not with anybody, and it's been kind of a prolific few years, despite, like, I don't know, like, has it changed though? I mean, it seems like everybody just fucks.
Wait, are you like someone who's always with someone? Like,
well, no, I've been married twice,
right.
but like, and I'm capable of being with somebody, but now I think after the last heartbreak, that I've become a little more callous and a little more aware of what is and isn't a relationship and what is and isn't healthy.
Right.
And but sex, I mean, plays into that. But you can still have sex and not have a relationship and not be healthy and it just, am I wrong in thinking that people are fucking a lot more now? I mean,
this reminds me of some of your like what you did on your John Oliver set. That was really funny. You're like, is it still all about fucking? Like you're always checking in. Like, are people fucking?
Yeah. But they are. But like, there's no real. I mean, I don't know from a woman's point of view, but I found. Have you been the person that fucks somebody and then like you're like something opens up inside of you and either that person has to pay or you're going to pursue that person?
No, that is just you.
Okay. I bring that out in people?
I don't know if I have the female perspective. I have to say that. Like, because like, fucking's really important for me.
Yeah.
Like, I still, like, want to have sex a lot.
Yeah.
And it's no longer about, like, when I first started having sex, you're like, I hope I look thin. I hope there was no real joy or,
the feeling of sex didn't matter. Right.
No, I wasn't like, oh, penetration.
Yeah.
Now it's like about me. Like, I have to remember to be like, and I'm giving, but I have to remember to be like, oh, this is about us together.
I'm not just using his dick.
Right. You're not just a jungle gym. There's a person in there. But
But do you ever get to that point where you're fucking somebody and he comes too quick or something? You're like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah. Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. A couple boyfriends ago.
Yeah.
I think of myself as being sensitive, but then I also like, it's like the last guy I saw, he had trouble getting an erection like twice.
Yeah.
Never a problem.
Yeah.
And the first time I was just like, whatever, it happens. I think he took his Xanax.
Yeah.
And then the second time I was like, just all sensitivity went out the window, and I was like, "What's your fucking problem?" Like, not that mean, but I was like, "Is it
guaranteeing
me?"
him a life of impotency?
Yeah, I think, right. What creates anxiety more than being like, think about your dick more?
Yeah. Focus, asshole.
Yeah, so I feel like split personality. Yeah. Sometimes I'm really sensitive to it, and sometimes I'm just like, why can't you just fuck me whenever I want?
Yeah.
But I don't. I think men and women are different in the way of, I have had sex. I'm like pretty much always in a relationship. I date somebody for like 3 years.
Yeah.
And then I meet someone that I want to have sex with more.
And that's.
Yeah, I feel like it's rare for chicks to be really attracted to someone.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen that often. So like I feel like I'm always dating the person I'm most attracted to.
It doesn't. You mean it doesn't happen that often in the sense that they act on it? Because I think don't women sort of fester about like I think that people are attracted to people, but I mean taking action is different.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm speculating.
Well, I don't know. For me, it's like I've been like, the only reason I would cheat in the past has been like, it would be if I felt like he wasn't appreciating me. If I felt like we weren't really connecting and he was like, didn't give a shit and didn't like really, wasn't into it. I'd be like, well, let me.
Love that. That's
not me.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? I'm like, let's have a compliment sesh, all in my direction. But I've cheated before. It feels like shit. It's not worth it. And you're like, do I have some new disease? And am I giving it to this guy? And I'm gonna have to convince him that he gave it to me.
Well, I'm glad that that's so funny because it's not even the sort of moral. It's not even the moral implications of betrayal. It's like I don't want to tell him, but God forbid that I get found out because he gets warts.
Yeah, that's it. Because I don't know. know. Like, I believe that, I feel like with men,
Yeah.
you can emotionally, like if you and I were together, okay,
Yeah.
we're married,
Yeah.
and you have sex with someone else,
Yeah.
that doesn't necessarily mean anything about your feelings for me. I believe that for men. Like, I don't, I'm like,
But
keep
if
your
you were in that relationship, would you be able to make that distinction? Like, okay,
I
so
don't
you went
know.
out and fucked that girl, but I'm not. I understand. You still love me, and
3 years ago, no fucking way.
Yeah.
Like, run for your life.
yeah,
But now I don't know. Like, I feel like I'd be like, I don't want to ever find out about it,
Right.
especially if it didn't mean something to you.
yeah,
Because I believe that, I don't know, something's going on with you.
Yeah.
People go through phases.
yeah.
But I don't know. Like, it would be very hurtful, but I don't believe that having sex with someone else necessarily affects your feelings for the person.
No,
that
I
you're
think
with.
that's probably true. I've known that to be true, but something's going on.
Yeah, and the anonymous sex, not anonymous sex that I've had, but sex with people that I wasn't really that into. Like, I tried that.
Yeah.
Post college, I'm like, maybe I'm still a whore. Maybe
Yeah.
I'm still wired.
Why
to,
do you
like,
call it a horse? Why is there this weird double standard about women? Like, I mean, like, I'm just now starting to really sort of process the fact that a lot of women fuck dudes. And it's
I
just-
do.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to get the word out.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing on stage. We're all like communicating
Yeah.
our truth, like
Yeah.
whatever we want to.
And you're basically saying, would someone please fuck me?
I'm saying, like, I have had a lot of sex.
Yeah.
I've got friends who are pregnant. I've got HPV. So when all of you girls do that, like, don't feel that bad about it.
Right.
Because it's happening. And guys, that does not, I think, and guys are, I've had a couple Fox News dudes be like, "You're a whore," and I'm just like, okay.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, I got into it on that show Red Eye with this kid, Steven Crowder.
Ugh.
Yeah, we got into it. He was like talking about abstinence, and I just, I've got my opinions on it. But then he like he took a shot at me. He was like, "Oh, well, it really takes a lot." Out of nowhere, he took a shot at me. He's like, "It takes a lot of. You're breaking new ground to be a dirty comic. You're breaking new ground there, Copernicus." Like, something
Yeah.
like that. And I like just rolled my sleeves up. I'm like, "Okay, motherfucker,
Yeah.
let's go."
Yeah.
And we went back and forth, and I was just like I know that I don't know shit yet about sex, love, comedy. Like, I'm figuring it out.
Yeah,
I'm trying
most people don't know shit about sex and love.
But people think they do. And, like,
Right.
this kid who's supposedly a virgin and, like, he is being bred to be, like, the next Glenn Beck, possibly, is sitting there just kind of preaching like he knows everything.
Yeah.
Like, here's the bottom line.
Because he's bought a dogma or like a system of like
Yeah.
he's
And he's
like
a product.
a belief system.
Yes, the whole system, he
Well, I mean,
is
it's
representing it.
Right.
And, like, I think that it makes me kind of arrogant because I just, like, don't believe that anyone could believe some
Right.
of that shit. I'm just like, no, there's no way you could, like, think about this stuff and
Like,
look at yourself in the mirror.
I think it's very threatening for men. Like I've been trying to do this joke on stage, which gets varied results because I'm trying to understand the double standard. But I think a woman who has had a lot of sexual partners to some dudes is threatening. Is that like, well, where do I rank? How am I gonna? It's really about pride.
Yeah.
Like they want somebody that's stupid and doesn't know anything, and
Right.
so they can be the hero of the situation.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I don't really care one way or the other, but there's always a question, I think, with men and women. It's like, well, how was I compared to the other 30?
Right.
But all
Well,
that shit starts to fade, too. I don't know if you've had that experience because of where you're at, but, like, I'm 47 years old, so
Mm-hmm.
there are sexual events in my life that I'll always recall fondly.
Yeah.
But it doesn't diminish any of the newer ones.
No, same for me. And I don't have any physical memory of sex.
Right.
I had sex yesterday. I don't really remember it physically,
You had
I'm
sex
like,
yesterday?
yeah, I'm like, okay, I know I had an orgasm because
Yeah.
I'm not mad.
Yeah.
But like, I can't remember my last boyfriend's penis.
Right.
Those
Right.
sexual memories, unless it's like an assault.
Yeah.
I feel like they fade away for girls. So I'm not like,
Right.
and if
I think if
somebody's
you're remembering penises, most of the time it's not going to be in the positive. Like you'll remember,
Right.
like that guy. It was
Exactly.
It was almost freakish. But then you can remember like 10 times where it's like, oh, that was bad.
I have no memory of like I know I've had satisfying sex with a
Right.
bunch of people,
Yeah.
but I don't remember that. I remember the disappointment.
Yeah.
I remember the time I put my hand down a guy's pants and couldn't figure out which was the testicle and which was the penis.
Oh, did you?
Yes. I'm like ball. Does he have 3 balls? Because oh my god, no, this is his dick. That's terrible. His life is terrible. And then I'm just like I'm pulling on something, like hoping it's the right one. I swear that's true. But yeah, so I just remember the disappointing ones.
Well, the joke that I've been trying to work on, which is basically like the double standard, where I've been saying like if a dude says I fuck a lot of chicks,
Yeah.
you know, people are like, well, hey, he's fucking a lot of chicks, right? But if a woman says like I fuck a lot of dudes, there's that moment like, oh, she's a whore, whatever. And then I thought, is it sexist? Is it based on this idea of patriarchy, of how we see women in culture? And then I decided, no, I think it's really about, you know, can you ever really get a vagina clean? I mean, all the way clean.
No. There's always going to be something lurking in there.
Right. Well, I think that's
some mystery sauce.
Right. Because like a dick, you're sort of like, I washed it. It's good.
Yeah. Like we're good for at least 30 minutes.
Yeah. And a vagina, it's like, that seems complicated. Did you?
Oh God. Yeah. Like after you get a Brazilian wax, they show you.
Yeah.
Like the chicks hold out a mirror. I think partially to be like, now are you happy?
Yeah,
you
yeah,
white entitled cunt.
Yeah.
But there's always some mystery thing going on. But when I hear, totally honestly, when I hear a guy say, I fuck a lot of girls.
Yeah.
I don't believe that anyone thinks that's cool anymore, unless
Right.
they're too young to believe that.
Unless
like,
right.
You know, like the situation on Jersey Shore. Like those guys fuck a lot. It's sad. It's just as sad for a girl or a guy. I think it's even. And those standards of she's a whore, I remember them from when I was younger.
Yeah.
And you wanted to be careful not to be slutty.
Yeah.
But I don't. That doesn't exist for me anymore, and I don't spend any time with anyone that feels that way openly.
Right.
But I've got guy friends who have a lot of sex.
Yeah.
And they're really unhappy.
Sure.
You know, I don't know any guy that's like, look, life is dope.
They're
I fuck
using
every night.
Right. They're using their dick as a shovel to dig for truth
Exactly.
and love.
And someone hurt them.
Yeah.
They're sad. So you're not. I don't think that those like high fives are going around anymore.
Why do you got to talk to me like that? Why do you have to implicate me in this?
Sorry, I mean this is about you.
It is. My show is about me, and as long as you can leave here with me feeling better, or like that, I've learned something. We've had a great episode.
Oh, good. Why? What are you thinking? What are you thinking right now?
I'm just thinking about the whole love, sexing, and that there's part of me that still thinks like I probably had this thought, 2 days ago. Like I remember it. Like when I think about how men define themselves, like there's still something adolescent in me. Like if I think about. Like, if I get shitty mail from, say, a Corolla fan who's like, fuck you, dude, you're a pussy. I'm like, my first thought is like, I have fucked more women than you could. Like, there's part of me that thinks that.
Yeah.
That's some sort of like, I win. You're not a man. I'm a man. What determines that?
Well, you kind of do win. Like, I don't disagree with that. I'm like, no, you've done really well.
But then there's this other part of me where like I had this other thing where I wrote down this thing where I'm trying to make it a joke. I don't know if it'll be a joke that even if I meet a nice girl, because of how well I know my dick, it's going to be dirty.
Yeah.
Like just the fact that like, this thing is.
You're going to turn this pure girl
into
it's
an old dirty dick.
Yeah. I'm going to ruin you. Yeah. You will be ruined. You're like a black guy.
Or you have no idea.
You're like, I'm going to make your stock go down in 10 seconds.
But I don't know. There's hope for us, right? There's hope for me, right? I'll find a love again.
That is what I've been getting at. You will. No, here's the thing. I feel like it's always changing. Like what I think makes someone happy and feel fulfilled. Like lately, my thing, it's like I'm almost 30. I'm like, ooh, and I can't say like right now.
Yeah.
I'm still like, maybe in 5-6 years, I'll want like a kid and like a family.
Yeah.
Maybe I want to surround myself with unconditional love, or maybe that's just because I'm starting to get afraid of dying and want something to carry on my genes.
Right.
So it's like all really, it all goes back to a self-serving, dark.
You're trying, but that's how you're sort of explaining to yourself the biological urge to have children, which I from what I hear exists, and from all indications it does in women.
Yeah, I've been like, that's never going to happen to me. I've never been interested in kids. But now if like there's a child, I'm at a party or something and somebody has a kid there, I'll like sweep it up and put it on my hip. And I'm like, whoa.
What just happened?
How did you get up here? What are you doing up here? And then I'm always thrilled to put it down and be like, go back to your life.
Yeah.
But I'm never like, can I keep it? Even I had to watch my friend's dog. I was like, I love your dog. I'll watch your dog for a week. A day in, I had to call in the reserves.
Oh, really?
I made up a breakup with my boyfriend so that I could not have to be responsible for a living thing.
Yeah, selfish.
Selfish. And I'm just like lazy and
it's a lot of work.
Moody, and I don't want it to be about me. I don't want to like have a kid to have it be about me.
Well, yeah, that's what my parents did, and look what happened. Is that what your parents did?
I think they were just trying to avoid each other.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, my mom was just like, I don't love this man.
Yeah,
I better produce.
Yeah. I need a barrier against against this dying relationship.
Yeah.
And did that work? So. Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I have a younger sister and older brother.
So there's 3 of you. Mm-hmm. Your parents are still married?
No.
No.
My mom's been married a bunch. Yeah. She was married. My brother and I have different fathers.
Uh-huh.
And
Is your father a Schumer?
yeah.
Now, how are you connected to Charles
To
Schumer,
the
the
senator? Man, he's like my dad's cousin. Like I think.
Oh, so it's not like, hey, there's Uncle Charles.
No.
It's like, there's that guy with the plugs.
Does he have plugs?
Please.
Really? Oh, I had no idea.
You know what? He's a good senator, and it's just interesting that here we are talking about this world, but your name is identified with one of the more. He's like a centrist Democrat kind of dude, but he is a political force.
Totally, he's the real deal.
Yeah.
I like him. Like any moves I've ever read about or seen, I'm never like, oh God, change my name. I think that. I don't think he even knows that I'm really alive. Like I don't think he knows I'm a comedian unless somebody's been like, should we kill her?
Right.
But
is this going to be a problem? She's got your name.
But I have this joke in my set where I say like, I talk about false advertising. I'm like, Reese's, there's no wrong way to eat a Reese's. I'm like, tell it to my uncle. He used to put them in my underwear. And people online were like, she should be careful with that joke. And I'm like, he's not even my uncle. I was not molested. These are jokes, you know? But yeah, the only time that it's really come up, being related to him was my cousin and I were arrested for shoplifting. Yeah. And it would have been grand larceny, but it doesn't take that much for it to be grand larceny.
Were you kids?
Not really. I just want to be like, I was 13. My parents are getting divorced.
No, it was last year.
No, it was 6 months ago. No, I was 21.
Yeah.
Like I should have had it together, but it was compulsive. Like I was stealing a lot, and it was just like part of. Just
so this was
other...
you actually hit a bottom with this by getting busted. It was something you had been doing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've been doing it for years, and like returning things that I hadn't paid for and getting cash for them. Some department stores you can do that. So we finally got arrested, and after years, and they were. And at the time, she was like having a lot of trouble. My cousin was like, has borderline personality disorder. Was like having a really tough time. Yeah, and so I just had to sort of keep her afloat. So we're in the back. There are detectives coming in, and I'm just trying to make her laugh. They lay out everything that you steal so they can assess the charge. And I'm like, where were you gonna wear that, bitch? I'm like, what is that, plaid? Just trying to make her laugh, so she didn't like dissociate, like start developing multiple personalities. So
is that a possibility?
Yeah.
With borderlines?
I don't. Yeah, definitely with borderlines, but
So you had a borderline in your life?
Yeah, I still do. Yeah.
And, well, okay. I've just become a little fascinated with this because
with that specific diagnosis.
Well, yeah, because I feel like I've maybe earlier in my life I may have had traits of that, and I've also found myself dating people lately that have. Symptoms of that, and I just think it's a very interesting but fairly specific thing. I mean,
so specific,
right? But people think
weird.
like borderline, like what does that even mean? But when you do research on it, it's like a real thing.
Yeah, you're like, like it's like any disease. But it's so specific and emotional. It's weird that it's a thing.
What are the experiences of it? What are the specifics?
Like, okay, well the height of, and it's a lifelong thing, but the height of her borderline. It was, and she had to go to residential school. Like she was hospitalized, cutter.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. My cousin was messed up.
Yeah.
And was and she would like, it was things like, and I read the book because at first it's like
like the book of like dealing with
a borderline, like how to support a borderline.
Right.
And it was like. At first, you're like, what is this? And being young and not knowing that much about it, it was like she had an eating disorder for a while, which is like chapter 3. She got an eating disorder.
Right.
And that was another thing I didn't really have sympathy for yet because I didn't know to. So I was just like, why don't you just eat food? I was like, why aren't you just eating?
Right. It's because their brain is wired differently.
Exactly. Yeah. It's real. It's a disease.
Is she able to function?
She's like high functioning, doing awesome. But at the time, she was in a
touch and go for a while.
And those chicks, they all like pick up things like we're all lesbians this week. It's like a fad, like anything else. But it's
because they don't have a sense of self, right? That's stable,
right? But it's like then you see them still in there, like she's fine. But the constant proving of loyalty, like
for you had to,
yes,
right,
yes. And you're like, how am I? Like, what do I have to do? Like,
right,
just
right.
Stop.
I'm here.
But they're like, no, stop your life.
Right. Right.
And just live for me. But like, through therapy, medication, whatever, totally high functioning, doing fine. And
treatable.
sometimes it shows up, and it's really frustrating for her that it's in there.
But now because of the level of self-awareness, she can say, "Oh, this is happening."
Yeah, she can handle it.
Catch it.
Yeah, like, and because it was bad, and she was a cutter.
Yeah.
And that people don't know that's like, if you're, it's like urge response, like anything else. So your body gets used to it, like heroin. So
Right.
the withdrawal is similar. So if you can't cut yourself, she would throw up.
Well, yeah, because you don't want to experience the emotions, so you externalize them somehow.
Right.
Right.
Exactly. You make it physical.
Right.
But then your body starts craving that specific pain. So she would, going through therapy, getting out of it. And they're like, it's a serious thing. Like, they're like, give them a razor, because if, you can't like just keep sharp things for them, because they will break a mirror. They will do what it takes. It's like heroin.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Were they able to source it? Like, I mean, because it's one of those disorders that it's not just a mental thing. It comes from an emotional trauma, right?
Yeah, it comes from an emotional trauma. But also it is like just chemical, straight up inherited.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. Now let's talk about your shoplifting problem.
Oh yeah. So
what were you getting out of that?
Oh, the physical experience.
The thrill of stealing?
The adrenaline, the getting away with it.
How'd you end up not
I had
fucked up
no
on
shame.
drugs?
I had no shame about it. I smoked some pot. I've never done coke.
Yeah.
I've never done ecstasy.
So you just
couple
went
mushrooms.
hands on with the, but you like the juice.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm like, I feel like you're like that.
Yeah.
Just like you're like, that's bad. I'm not supposed to do that.
Yeah.
Let me do that.
Yeah. Well, I know I actually found that I like now like things are going okay for me, and I'm feeling a little like, oh, this is good, and I just want to keep that feeling going.
Yeah.
Like I have certain songs that I listen to. I've got 2 nicotine patches on. I'll drink a pot of coffee.
Right.
Like I like the juice of it.
Yeah.
And I'm too old for that shit.
I know. Like, it's just the risk is not, like, there's too much, the reward is not worth it. And
I wish I could tell my brain that.
And you know what? And I watched that show Beyond Scared Straight.
Yeah.
Did you ever see that on A&E where they like take the kids to jail and they're
No.
like, "Is this what you want?"
How beyond is it? Do they actually let inmates fuck them in the ass?
They let the guards impregnate the female.
Yeah. Are you gonna steal now?
Yeah.
Tell
But
me what you named the
Some of
kid.
these kids, you want to see them throwing a raping. You're like, fuck these little brats. They think they can do whatever they want. I think that shit works, though. I have nightmares about it a lot, but it keeps me in line.
Really?
I do not want to go to jail. I can't do anything else, or I would have to go to jail.
It scares me too.
I don't even
actually.
jaywalk.
Yeah, the idea of jail is very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I would be popular in jail. I'm not going there.
Everyone's popular when they first get there. It's how you deal with the rest of it.
New girl. She seems really cool.
Yeah, let's destroy her soul and see if she can adjust.
Yeah.
That's why they always wonder, why can't inmates adjust to real life? Look what they had to go through.
Oh my God.
Even if they weren't the team favorite. I mean, how are you going to adjust after your brain has been fucked that bad?
The house MC.
Yeah.
They're still
fucked up.
They're still going to be fucked up. Oh God, yeah. I don't want to get raped if I chase
So
to jail.
your mom had a lot of husbands. I can't because I talk to people about I'm always surprised by people's backgrounds, and I found that I didn't have that, but throughout when you were a little kid, you had different stepdads.
Starting when I was 12, so the perfect age to leave some damage. Yeah, like my dad was always awesome, loved us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Never really responded to my brother, which was weird, and we
How's
didn't
he
realize that
doing?
till later on. My brother's great, jazz
Yeah.
musician in Chicago.
Oh, good.
Yeah, Jason Stein. Do you like jazz?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, your apartment, like, I feel like you look like a jazz musician.
Well, I do. I'll listen to it. I understand it. I have the grooves in my mind
Yeah.
that receive it.
Yeah.
I don't. It's not a go-to thing for me, especially not when I'm feeling all amped and cocky. Then
Right.
I'm in AC/DC land. And
Oh
fucking
yeah,
jamming.
I feel like your brain like is like Coltrane.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
it's
it'll
just
do
like,
it. Like I can definitely jump on board. Like
Yeah.
I have a cousin who's like, I find it makes me anxious. I'm like, no, you just got to jump in.
Yeah.
So he's that kind of musician.
Yes, like free jazz,
What instruments do you play?
the bass clarinet.
Wow, that's an interesting instrument.
Oh yeah,
Weird choice.
Not fun to. I feel like there's so many similarities with comedy. Like it was not fun being around to hear him learning it.
Yeah.
It's not he's amazing at it now. He's like the best one in the country now. But like with stand up, you're like, come see my show. It's like we were both learning at the same time, and we both sucked.
Right, but he's in the house practicing. You at least go outside.
Right, I would just do it. Right, it would just be. But he's like usually just in a room alone practicing, sweating. I made people watch.
Yeah.
What a horrible.
Hey, let me drag you through my process.
Yeah, but no, he's good. My siblings and I are close.
That's great.
Yeah.
But like, so 12 years old, new guy comes in.
Okay, so mom leaves dad.
Yeah.
Has an affair with my best friend's dad.
Oh man.
Breaks up their family.
And
I'm in school. We're trying to still be best friends. Like, we were best friends. It was crazy.
It's weird because it always happens in the community. People forget that, like, you know, when you stick your dick into something that's, you know, nearby, the ripple effect is going to be fairly profound.
There are, that
happened to my
vagina is
brother.
going to be at a PTA meeting with
yeah.
your wife next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
So
sucked.
so the whole town was affected by it.
Yeah, and so she was like, you know, she was Hester
was,
Prynne.
She was,
and
yeah.
And maybe that's like sort of where it came from. Like, I was like, well, I love my mom. She's my family, so fuck you guys.
Yeah.
And then years later, I was like, Mom, how could you do that? You know, but not till a while later.
Did you say that to her?
When I was 16, I got angry. I was running away. That's when I started really stealing a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was funny. I played volleyball like pretty seriously.
Right.
I was on this club team, and it was like preliminaries for the Junior Olympics. And my mom was a chaperone. We had to go to San Jose from New York to San Jose, and I got caught stealing at this tournament. So I was benched the whole tournament, and she just like, so I'm standing there with my knee pads around my ankles, and my mom's just like standing there for the whole weekend, having to stare at me with hatred. But I could always stare right back at her and be like, "Yeah, but you ruined my life." Yeah, but we have new dads. So she started dating.
Yeah.
And would be like, I'm in love with this guy. And I was like, I felt honored to be privy to such adult information.
Right.
Like, oh, she trusts me. But it was just because she didn't have any friends.
Well, also, it was because it was completely inappropriate to put that on your daughter on some level. Like boundaryless insanity.
Yeah, when I heard Paul Shear's WTF with you, I was like, that kind of happened to him too. Yeah, it was like really refreshing to hear about his abuse.
Yeah.
No, but
by the new guy.
Yeah, the new guy, and like so the new guy would come in, and I was like a total cunt. I would be like, I'd be like, you know, my mom dates a lot. Seriously, yeah. Or I'd be like totally crazy and be like, when can we start calling you dad? Yeah. Like, just scare the shit out of these guys who like probably just wanted to have sex.
These right, just the guys that would come over to pick her up.
Yeah, and honestly, I didn't. I was just like, I didn't approve of her taste. Like, I was like, this guy isn't even hot, Mom. Like, what are you doing? I just thought.
So you made it horrible for your mom to even have a date.
Yeah, I did. Okay. And then I was like, whatever. I became really important to myself. So I was like, well, when she goes on dates, I'll just have parties.
So you think the stealing was just a direct reaction to fuck your mom up?
Maybe. It's like, I go to therapy, and that's sort of the path we're on in there right now.
Oh, you're there? You're just you're getting into that?
Yeah, we're getting into that. But, you know, it's like, what is that? It's like 45 minutes. So it's always like, well, we're going to get into this.
Yeah.
And then the session ends, and I'm just like, when are we going to ever get into something?
Anything.
Yeah, like, can we really do this?
Is this a racket?
Yes.
So, well, that's all pretty exciting. So you ended up with a stepdad that was okay, though.
Oh no, she's single.
Oh,
but she married this guy, but kind of just so we could stay in the country. But he got deported because he was an Iranian guy who was in the Israeli army. So they were like, after 9/11, they were like, nobody's letting you marry anyone. You're not getting a green anything.
How'd he find your mother?
He was a mechanic. He owned an auto body shop, and she got her car fixed.
And did she sleep with him?
Yeah, they were totally together.
Oh.
But they weren't like really like, I didn't know that they got married until I came home from college one weekend. I was flipping through photos. Yeah. And I was like, why are you and Eddie standing with a judge? She's like, oh, we got married. And I was like, oh, congratulations.
And that was your third husband or second?
Third.
Oh. Who was the second one?
My dad.
Oh, so there was one before you.
Yeah. My brother's dad. He died. He had a heart attack. Oh. Cocaine.
Really?
Yeah.
80s?
Yeah. He was like 33.
Oh, my God.
First heart attack.
Wow.
Beware.
Yeah.
Cocaine.
No
hell of
blow.
a drug.
Yeah. It's back, right?
The
coke is out there.
I never think about it, and someone will offer it to me, and I'm like, oh my God, no.
No. Did we just get into a time machine?
Yeah.
Blow.
I'm like, what are we celebrating?
So the Iranian guy, that's interesting.
Yeah, but he got deported.
He did? So he's back in Israel?
He's back in Israel. He can't come back here. It was sad. Like, I loved him.
Yeah.
And he was infuriating because he was like a crazy Persian
Jew.
Persian Jew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Like, a lot of people don't think that
exists.
And there's
real.
a lot of them. And you grew up in where? In Long Island? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of them there.
I mean,
I think that, isn't one of those towns, Scarsdale, or maybe not Scarsdale, that's not in the island, that's in Westchester, but Great Neck or somewhere is a lot of Persian Jews.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's a hotbed.
Of Persian Jews.
Yes.
Yeah, it's interesting how they grew.
It's some shady shit.
Yeah, well, there's whenever you hear that, it's never a good thing.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
never
like-
they're really giving back to the community.
Well, even
you're
like the-
they're running a drug ring.
Right, even here, oh, that's the Russian neighborhood. It's never like, oh, that sounds lovely. It's
Yeah.
like, what's going on
You're
there?
just like steer clear.
yeah.
Yeah, I know.
And that's not racist. It's just that's what you think immediately.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just true.
is it?
I think it's true. Like, but my town on Long Island, it's like people are like, oh, Long Island Jew Fest, but my town had no Jews.
Which
in
town
it.
was it?
Rockville Center.
Oh. It was
It was very Irish Catholic.
Not one of the 5 towns. Yeah,
No.
Yeah, no. A lot of people forget that Long Island is not all about Jews.
No, I had no Jewish friends.
Yeah.
And they're totally anti-Semitic. People are just like, we hate you.
So it seems that like the last Comic Standing thing, really, you're one of the few people that actually did it at the right time in your career for it to get you the start that you needed, as opposed to you being like, I'm almost done. Thank God I had last Comic Standing, where no one know who I was at all. Hopefully I can bank some money.
Yeah.
To last me a little while. Like it seems like for you it launched, a reasonable trajectory career-wise.
Like that show for me, like it doesn't really, you never hear about it. Nobody remembers who won or anything. I did it at the perfect time. I was like 2.5 years in, and couldn't believe that I was going to be on television.
Right.
I had just filmed one of those Live at Gotham for
Yeah,
Comedy Central.
sure.
And blacked out. I was so excited. Like, I couldn't believe that I was doing a television taping of stand-up.
Right.
And then the next day, I had my audition for Last Comic.
Oh, so you're hot. You're on it.
I was, like, crazy.
You did it the day after the taping?
The day after
That's
my Live
fucking-
at Gotham taping.
That's fucking perfect because you're in it.
I had no even tiny sliver of hope that I was going to make it on the show because, comics don't watch that show. Until you're like, oh, my friend's on there. Let's see what's going on.
But I think at the time you did it, if it had any integrity ever, it was to sort of break, new people and to be a legitimate sort of test of people who were, starting out or maybe unheard of.
Yeah, in retrospect, like, that's the interesting thing. Because everyone else had been doing it. The next guy after me was, like, 10 years. These guys have been doing it 10, 20 years.
Yeah, and they're unheard of. And, like, I have nothing against it, but it just became sort of a spectacle. And I don't
totally.
watch it, and I don't like the idea that we're judged. But in terms of, for someone like you, like I got my first TV opportunities 2 or 3 years in, and they're like Evening at the Improv and Caroline's Comedy Hour and some other stuff, and those didn't really make a big difference. They were
that's
just sort of
what's weird.
practice.
This was prime time.
Huge.
Like my season, 7 or 8 million people watched every week, and I didn't know. Like I remember the first taping of the semifinals. There were gonna be 900 people in the audience, and I'm like, I cannot believe 900 people are gonna be in the crowd tonight. And one of the producers was like, 8 million people are going to watch this.
You're like,
and
what?
I couldn't even fathom what that meant.
Don't even process it.
But I couldn't do that show now, Like I was so bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. My sort of character on that show, like it's like a reality show, and they cast me like, okay, she'll be like the young, excited, hopeful. Like that's really who I was.
Right.
And I didn't think I was going to get on there because I'd never seen it before. I didn't know it was a reality show. Like, I thought, oh, the best comedians move on.
Right.
And I made it to the night showcase, and I invited my mom, just like,
Yeah.
this will be fun. And you stand on those bleachers after, and like they call the people who are going to L.A. And I was just humiliated because I was standing in between 2 of my favorite New York comics.
Who?
Lori Kilmartin
She's
that
great,
year. It was like Jay Okerson, Pete Dominic, Joe DeVito.
Yeah.
And so the 2 guys next to me got called up, and I'm just standing there like, this is so embarrassing. And they're also looking at me like, why is she here? She's only been doing it 2 years. I mean, they were cool to me, but and they said my name, and I was shocked. And then I went home and looked at the cast the year before. Yeah. And I was like, oh, it's a reality show. Right. Like I'm the I went in like nothing to lose. There's no reason I should do well on this. So I'll just say the stuff that I think is funny and be honest and like what, but I was like, what's the worst that could happen? I'm not really racist. I'm not going to get drunk and say some racial slurs. I'm not going to sleep with somebody on the show.
You sure?
So
were you sure of that?
Yeah.
Because you knew
because I was like,
But I think that it seems to me that, and maybe I'm wrong here, that because of that exposure at that point in your career, that I think people are sort of rooting for you.
Rooting for me, but I think so.
Like
they
when
were
people come out, like I think you have the personality that people are like, that's that girl. They're not going to be
right. Like we liked her on that show.
Right. I wonder if she.
Right. So that's why now when I do clubs on the weekend, like my poster, it's me wearing like a little dress with like a cigarette, making a face like "fuck you," because I'm like let them know that because I did dark shit when I was on that show.
Right.
Like my jokes on Last Comic were fucked up. They
right.
were dark, but But still, people like just remember like, oh, this is the nice girl
Yeah.
from Last Comic. So I'm like, let them know the show that I do, because I don't want them to just come and be like, wait a minute, where's all the talk about shopping?
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
Oh, you do? You go out of your way to say, like, this is going to get...
I just like try to have them market me like that.
Isn't that interesting that we all get into that at some point, that we get associated with something and then we're sort of like, just make sure they understand.
Yeah.
Like for me, when I did political talk radio, like it was just people literally like, well, we don't really go to comedy clubs, but we're here to support you. And I'm like, I kind of want a comedy club audience.
Yeah, I want people who want to
Yeah.
laugh, not just like want to see me do well. But it's like Last Comic, the year after I headlined.
Yeah.
Because, they're like, people will come, and they did. And I got away with headlining. I can't imagine. Like, I never got a letter complaining.
Right.
But I can't imagine what those shows were like. But then I went back to featuring and, like, learning how to do stand-up and being on the road, opening for Norton Natal and just whatever, doing a million shows, running around New York every night. And then just the past, year and a half have started headlining big clubs and being proud of what I'm doing and not like, sorry.
Well, no, it's like
You know?
it's impressive that you came up, legitimately, and you're a good joke writer, and you figured it out, and
Thank
those
you.
guys showed you some love. Those guys
Yeah.
aren't easy to get.
No, what a compliment! Just for them to be like,
Yeah.
you're someone I could get a cup of coffee with. I'm
or
like,
open their shows.
yeah, trust me to
and you can manage those fucking hordes of.
their fans.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love them. I love them. I love those degenerates because they know who they are. Like, and I don't like pretend like I'm any classier
Yeah.
than I am.
Yeah.
So when they're like,
Do they respect you?
yeah,
Oh, that's good.
yeah, they've been cool, and I do Opie and Anthony,
Yeah,
and they've been like really nice to me. And of course, somebody comes along once in a while. I'm sure you get this, like somebody will write on Twitter, like, I hate you, you're fat, everybody
Yeah.
hates you, and then you look in their accounts, like,
Two people.
I say whatever,
Yeah.
and then it's all just insults to
Yeah.
people that
Yeah, always go
Fuck
back
you,
and
I'm
check
gonna
where
kill
it's
you.
coming from.
I can't help it. I never look at who a compliment comes from. Oh, don't.
Oh, no,
I'm not
yeah.
encouraging negative.
No.
Negative comments.
Well, I think it's that same weird, like, compliments are good, and you're like, good, okay, there's a little love.
Yeah, I
but the
needed
jolt
that.
of somebody jabbing you,
Blood rush to the
yeah,
head.
yeah, you're like, "Rah!"
Maybe I am worthless.
yeah, who is this guy? But always track it.
Ugh, when am I gonna get over that?
Some people will just make an account to shit on you.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God.
They
I'm
have
like,
one follower. Yeah.
I want to get to the point where I don't ever feel that. Like
Wow.
let that show. And I sometimes I'm in a mood where I'm like, I can read something and be like, fuck you.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'm like, oh, they're right.
No, come on.
I need to stop doing this.
Well, that's
I
if
need to
they're-
go to dental school.
Yeah, if they're good, they hit you where it hurts.
Yeah.
But you're doing great, and thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
That's it. That's our show. That's Amy Schumer. Lovely. The lovely Amy Schumer. Splendid to talk to her. I'm going to be in Bloomington tonight. That's Thursday, the 3rd, through the 4th and the 5th. If you'd like to come to the Comedy Attic, I'll be there. Also, I just found out that Jerusalem Syndrome, my first book, is available on Kindle and Nook. Do that. I also want to thank Jerry for the lovely Tart Cookbook. And I want to thank Lawrence for all the Keith Richards records. I had no idea that they had that collection out. I'd like to thank Amanda for the whole wheat apple bread. And I'd like to thank Nicole for the lovely letter. And Meg sent me some prayer cards. Go to justcoffee.coop, get a little pow and shit your pants. WTF when, kick me a few shekels on the back end of that. Go to WTF Pod for all your WTF Pod needs. Get on that mailing list. And let me recap those deals that I said at the beginning. The WTF app is free for the month of March. Once you get it, you can upgrade it and get every past episode. Or you can get every past episode streaming on your desktop with the WTF Premium account. Go to WTFpod.com, click Get the Podcast, click No iTunes, it'll take you to that page. For individual episodes, go to WTFpodshop.com or search WTF Premium on iTunes. Okay? Awesome.